everybody. Welcome back to the OJ podcast. I'm Olivia. That's Jamie. And today we're talking about the Belgian Grand Prix, otherwise known as Spa. I guess, we're also talking about the sprint and the quali and the one practice. Well, two for Pierre Gasly everyone had. So I'm excited to chat with you, Jamie.
That was funny. Yeah, the races weren't too exciting, but I think everyone was so excited that it was back.
I was thrilled it was back, and then it got delayed. We'll talk about it. Now, I have a confession. I was a bad F1 fan and did not watch the first practice because I low-key forgot it was on. And then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you forgot it was a sprint weekend and you went, oh shit.
Yeah. And then I watched that late because I was sleepy because I've been working so much. So...
Yeah. Well, there wasn't any crashes throughout the entire weekend, so a lot of things were boring. There was spin outs, one couple, not that many either.
It was Lewis, right? And was there anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was other spin outs. We'll see. We'll check my notes. I don't know what I wrote. For pre-practice one, there was a lot of car changes. So that was like the main topic of free practice one, was talking about all the car changes. Ferrari had a new rear suspension, Red Bull cooling system, rear bodywork, front suspension, has been looking at McLaren. There has been reports from the commentators of Red Bull people like walking over to the McLaren garage and peeking in to look at their stuff.
Did you see that they gave Yuki, speaking of Red Bull, one of the spare floors they had for Max?
Yes. Which I'm kind of on the team. I saw a TikTok about this. I'm kind of on the team of people are like, you need spares for parts just in case they break. So I don't fully hate on Red Bull's decision beforehand.
Right? No, I think if they only had one spare, that makes sense.
They only had one spare. I think they still only had one.
How I read it is they had multiple, and I'm like, in that case, it makes sense. But I mean, Yuki did perform better this weekend, so I mean, there has to be something to that.
But they did get a lot of new upgrades. Max says they have no chance in the championship. Not Horner. God, he's gone.
Lauren, or whatever.
I guess we haven't talked about it. Yeah, Horner's gone.
I hate that man.
But Helmut Marko still thinks Max has a chance in the championship. Max does not think he has the chance. He says the car is not there.
Doesn't think he has a chance, it means he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, he says Max. The car doesn't have the upgrades. He's one of the most
competitive people we've ever seen. Like, come on.
Williams also had a new leading edge floor, which is like the outside of the floor. Just a new design, the wavies.
And time out. On time out.
I know I texted you. My favorite thing about all of the upgrades was the commentators were like, kind of a risky weekend to do upgrades that aren't specific to the track. Like, this is a risky track to do those things. And I went, of course, Ferrari's doing that.
Strategy!
Which I think it did help them. It for sure did.
I think so. I don't think it did initially. I think Lewis would like to forget this weekend happened, but...
After moving up 11 places...
He still talked about it afterward. He's like, This sucks.
So, at the start of free practice, Carlos just could not accelerate the car. As per him quoted, I can't accelerate, it's just a limp home. So he limped all the way back to the pits. So he only got half of the practice time because they needed to fix the engine, I think. Something about it.
For Carlos?
The power unit. And the only other thing that happened in free practice is Isaac was taking a nap
As he
in the
should.
car.
In the car?
Yeah.
Isn't he supposed to
He,
be, practicing? What happened?
well, it was like during, they wait for a little bit to go back
Yeah.
out again. Yeah.
He took a nap?
Yeah, he took a nap, which so fair. Because like those seats are fitted to them. Like I feel like they have to be the comfiest things in the world.
I imagine they're not that comfy. Have you seen the TikToks of Lando showing off his seat? It didn't look
Lando
that
says it.
comfortable.
He said it was comfy.
Did he?
Yes, in that video, he was like, "Yeah, it's
I don't
so
know about that.
comfortable.
I believe you that he said that, but I don't know about that.
It's literally fitted to your body shape. How can anything be less comfortable? Like, whatever. Spring
Whatever.
qualifying. So I don't have many notes. I watched only up till Q2 before I had to go to work, but you watched the whole thing, so you're gonna have to refresh some
For quali?
things.
Yeah. Did you
Sprint,
not rewatch it? Did you
sprint.
not go back for sprint quali?
Yeah,
I
I
would
did
have
not go
taken
back and
notes
watch
if
it.
I knew I had to do this. Let's see. Lewis
I have
obviously spins out,
Lewis spun out in Q1. I
yeah,
have who
and
I
then he
wrote down
got in trouble for
everyone who
track
got out.
limits, right? No, track limits was the
What?
second time. Track limits was the second
Oscar?
one.
Yeah.
For what?
You're
Oh,
talking about
no,
Oscar.
I was talking
Oh,
about for Lewis
Lewis.
because he had two rough
Yeah.
qualies.
No. Lewis, he spun out in the first one. He spun out in Q1. He was in 17th, or no, 18th. I
Do
can
you have
count.
the order down? Because I can talk about it if
Yeah,
I get
I have the order. So
All right, tell me the order.
Q1 who was out was Kimmy in 20th, Franco in 19th, George in or not George, Lewis in 18th, Nico in 17th, and Alex in 16th. I think
I
what happened
don't
to
remember
Kimmy the
that
first
well.
time? I don't
I
either. Sprint
I
quality is a
honestly I
blur.
remember the sprint race pretty well, but I don't remember a lot of what
Yeah.
happened in quali, even though I
Um
did watch live.
yeah,
I watched it though in
Q2
the middle of my work day. So maybe that's why I'm forgetting stuff because I paused my job to go and watch. I
Q2
work from
went
home.
Lance, Fernando, George, Yuki, Liam. I know you were so distraught about George going out in Q2.
1 minute, my text might be the best thing to actually go over what I said. This might take
Go
a quick
back through our
second because
text.
that's my
That
live
was when
thoughts.
I was still watching, and I don't even remember.
Yeah.
All I remember was
There
you
was a
saying
lot
that
of
Oscar
stuff
got
this
pole.
weekend. It was hard to remember. Jamie, we text too
Yeah.
much.
You're never gonna find it. You're never gonna find it.
Hmm.
If you guys want to know, we are constantly yapping about F1. Like,
Talking about
constantly.
other
We
stuff
are.
too. It's just mostly F1.
The only other stuff is I was complaining about people in my life. That
Your
is the
dad.
only other stuff we were yapping about.
Oh my god, I'm only on Saturday. It's on Friday.
It was early Friday too, so I don't even know what we yapped about later.
Oh, we
I
talked
was
about a
indeed
lot. I'm looking back. We talked a lot about people in our lives.
working from Friday 10:30 to 4. That was Friday. So sprint quali for me
I'm
started
there. I'm there. I'm
at
there.
9:39.
Oh, okay. So it started with Nico hitting Lance, and we got hate on TikTok for that.
Yeah, we did get it. I wasn't purposely blaming Lance. It
No,
was
it was just
literally,
funny that he was
it's the
involved.
fact that Lance was moving. So, in consideration for the definition of hitting someone, the one that's moving, hitting the stationary object, is hitting. Not that I was blaming it on him. TikTok people
Oh,
annoy me
and
all
then I
the
was talking
time.
about how I thought Nico Hulkenberg, not Rosberg. We'll talk about Rosberg later. Uh, Nico Hulkenberg. I'm like, he's gonna purposely get 20th place in quali so he can get
Oh,
that
yeah,
20th
I
the first
remember
thing.
you saying
And then I
that.
texted Jamie. I'm like, if that happens, we need this to go on TikTok with my timestamp
Yep.
evidence as me calling it. I did not call it, but it would have been funny
No.
if I did.
This was
My
this
other
was not
thoughts
Nico's
during
weekend.
quali, I have seen the track before, but I think the track, I like this specific turn in the track. It makes my brain really happy. It's
If
so
you guys are
satisfying.
wondering, it's the S turn. So
Yeah.
if someone's listening, it's the S turn in the track. I don't know if it has a name. I don't know the names. I know Eau Rouge, and that's about it.
It's pretty. Um, I think this is the end of Q1. We said Ollie and Kimmy have to book it because I think they were behind and probably going in
Yes,
after the
no.
flags.
I think Kimmy went off track, and so he didn't set an initial time. And so he only had one more chance to set in another. I now remember now that you say it. He had another chance to set another time, but he still didn't go well. It went well for Ollie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we were sad that Zach wasn't there to comment on Christian Horner.
But
I
he
think
was
he
there.
was there.
Eventually.
But you said that.
Eventually. I
But I
don't know
don't think
when
he
he
was
got
there
there.
initially because it was IndyCar.
No.
That's what you
I
were
don't even
saying.
think he was at Indy, so I don't even know where. He could have been
Then
in
whatever.
London at
McLaren.
the Formula E, like,
Mm.
Grand Prix. I don't know. He wasn't at Indy, I know that.
Yeah, he hasn't made. You texted, then he didn't make an appearance, and then I said Alex is out, and I said this is a disaster for my fantasy team because I have ready. Listen to this. I have Fernando, Nico, Alex, George. What's the last one? Alex, Nico, Fernando, Alex, George, Ollie. So Ollie was, I think, the only one who made it through to Q3 out of
Fun
my entire
fact,
team.
the only way she has a fighting chance in our fantasy team is because she has McLaren, and that is her only fighting chance.
They get me so many points, though.
They
I was being
do.
strategic.
I picked Oscar.
Kai and I both beat you.
That's because I had ×2 on Isaac, and Isaac did not do as well as he should have because he had car problems. So I got -14
I
points.
still won this weekend. Thank you very much. Anyway, we were talking about Williams having problems with Carlos, which we referenced earlier, and it was a problem with the power unit.
Which is the engine. Same
Yeah.
thing.
And then we were talking about how the Mercedes power unit has been causing issues for every car that has it except for the McLarens. And I think it's because of their cooling thingy for their brakes
Oh,
and
it probably
engine.
is.
I think it's
It
that technology.
100% is. I ever. Oh my god, this was something that I saw pointed out. This could have been a thing that everyone knew already. So did I ever send you the thing of Lando's car setup versus Oscar's and how Oscar's is more toward like cooling him versus Lando's?
I think so. But
Like so
Lando's always so cold.
Yeah, Lando is always so cold. So Oscar has like thermal padding underneath his seat. He also always has to have his drink system like ice cold, like it's frozen at the beginning of the race. And like even Oscar or Lando has said that Oscar like tends to drink a lot more water. And then this is my favorite part. So the wing at the nose tip, there's a little
Mm-hmm.
hole in Oscar so then air can go through to cool him off more. And Lando has none of these. Not a single one. And
I
it's
don't.
like I love learning the weird differences between drivers and their
Oscar
setups
needs
because
a chilly car.
I would definitely be an Oscar. I would be finding every possible way to make myself cooler because I am a warm person. I don't like being warm. It's uncomfortable.
That's more unnecessary for me personally.
Really? Oh my god.
I don't get as warm as you. We've discussed this. Like I run cooler.
The only time I get cold is when I haven't eaten. Only time.
I get cold really easily. In fact, I'm kind of chilly right now. There's a
I'm
fan on
warm
me.
right now, but I'm still with my blanket on.
There's a fan that's off to the side. You can kind of tell because my hair is blowing. And I moved it before the podcast because I was chilly waiting here for you to show up. And I'm still cold. All right. Anyway, there's then some debris on the track, I think because of Lewis. And a
Oh yeah.
tractor came out. And I made a joke that that's Nico's car, which I still think's really funny. And I think TikTok agreed from our views.
TikTok
Yeah.
pretty agreed. Not as
I'm
much
so,
as
I
that was
know
during
you.
the sprint. That was during the sprint was my video, I think, or quali.
Then
Either
we were
one.
talking about how Lewis is experiencing Ferrari depression. Um, then we were
Oh,
surprised McLaren was the first cars out, and I was like, oh, are they
yeah,
trying to
I
get
was.
unimpeded? Um,
Yeah.
and then you were really happy because Oscar did really well.
He was
And that's in Q2.
0.4 second. Oh, that was still
But
in
then his
Q2.
time got deleted because of track violations or track
No,
limits.
that was in the second race. That was in
Oh,
quali.
no, I'm talking about quali.
Not you're talking about sprint quali. I mean quali. I'm fairly sure. No,
You're
wait, no, it
talking
wasn't. It
about.
wasn't sprint
I
quali.
can't
It
read them
wasn't
out loud,
sprint.
but you're talking about it. Here,
Yeah, it wasn't sprint. Never mind. Never mind. Shut up.
I have the
I,
text.
I forgot
We
Lando got
take
pulled in
notes on this
quali.
one.
I forgot Lando got pulled in quali. Never mind. Shut up. I know. Yes, his
No, Lando
lap got
got pole in the
deleted.
second quali. Oscar got pole in sprint.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I would be saying sprint quali if I'm talking about sprint quali, Olivia.
I'm talking
I
about
am
sprint
saying
quali.
quali. I know. You are
Whatever.
getting confused on what I'm talking about.
Oh, I got really sad George got out of sprint
Well,
quali
yeah.
in Q2. I went, no. And then I was like, why is Haas doing so good? And they came in with a whole new setup, correct? They were one of the teams that changed up. They were talking about that. They said they were focusing on more of the like straight line speed on the broadcast.
That's not an upgrade. That is just a change in setup. Just like when they talked about Max versus the McLarens were more toward the turns, whereas Max was more toward the straight line speed.
Gotcha.
Not an upgrade. Just the change. Setups
Oh,
change
and
all
then
the
we were
time.
worried Lando was almost knocked out.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
no, because
because the track was developing as it went
that was the
on.
crazy sprint
Yeah,
quali because all but one team got into Q3. The only team that didn't was the Aston Martins
yeah.
because both
And then I was
McLarens got
angry
in.
because they projected the knockout wrong because I thought George was safe. He was like 0.2 underneath the projected knockout because I think it was like 0.6 and he was at 0.4. And then he got knocked out, and I was like, "Why did you lie
Okay,
to me?"
but no one expected any of those midfield teams to just
No,
dominate in that
nobody did.
Q2
But why the heck did they?
because the track changed. It got a little warmer.
And then I said, I was complaining about my fantasy team, and I said Ollie is carrying right now.
My fantasy
And then you
team
left
was
for
actually
work,
doing
so
amazing
you
in the
went out
sprint.
after the second round of sprint quali. Um, and then I was talking about the only thing these races tell me is Pierre deserves a better car, driver, team, or sorry, car, team, or both. And we were talking about how he has a good car, but terrible strategy. And I don't think they have a
I
good
think,
car because everyone calls the Alpine the worst car on the grid.
but it's the best last place car in a decade. They
Yeah,
have
but
the
it's still not a
most
good
points ever
car.
for a last. I'm not saying that it's like top tier, amazing, phenomenal car. I'm just saying it's not bad. It's kind of like they just don't have a good like they just have a rookie second driver slash they're putting so much pressure onto the second drivers like Jack and Franco of being like, ooh, you could lose it at any second. Like they're gonna do
Um,
bad if you tell them that.
yeah, everyone was going out really late in Q3 because the track was getting so much better so quickly. Good job, Jamie. Um, but it ended up being Max ahead of Norris, and then Piastri was P1. And
Yeah.
then it went Oscar, Max, Lando, Charles, Esteban, Carlos, Ollie, Pierre, Isaac, Gabriel. And I said Esty Vesty went the fastest in the first sector. So I was like, oh my God, is Esteban gonna get the top time? But he didn't. but it was a moment. And Oscar got pulled by like half a second, so he was doing really good.
Hmm.
And then he apologized for giving his team a heart attack. The other thing I want to note is Kimi was crying after this, and it made me really sad.
Yeah, he was having a rough weekend, and there's a lot of people. Nico Rosberg, I know, commented that like Toto just needs to give him that next year contract just so he has
Yeah,
that like
confidence.
because I'm sure Kimmy was stressing himself with the Max rumors.
Yeah,
That's not gonna help.
I think especially when the
Like
plane got like tracked, they were probably like, "Oh my god."
it's just like
The way I so want it to be that they just happened to be going on vacation at the same place, didn't even know until the fans found out, and we read too much
yeah,
into it.
I
I could
don't even
totally
know
see
what it
that
was
happening.
because I don't think they ever said why they. No, did Max say he was just
Max said he
swimming
was
and
going
didn't know?
swimming.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
swimming at the time. Never mind, they did comment on it. So they did just go on vacation at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then what?
I just remembered my favorite thing about the break of Ollie spending the entire break trying to get a track record of go-karting in a track, and he did get the record. And then
Just for it to
the
get
person
beat.
he broke it just broke it the next day. And Ollie's probably so pissed. He
I
spent
would be
his
mad.
entire 3-week break trying to get that record.
This is
And
why
then
Ollie
it's
is my favorite
gone.
rookie. Because I'm that level of annoying to try to do that. Okay, so shall we move on to the actual sprint race?
Yes.
Do you have notes for
Um,
this one?
of course I do.
Okay.
Um, the only reason I didn't have one for the other one was because I was getting ready to go to work.
I know, I'm just making sure.
Okay,
Because I exited
so
out of our text, so I was worried if you didn't, I'd have to doom scroll all the way back up.
um Pierre did not
Pierre?
start due to a potential
Pierre?
shut up.
Pierre? Pierre?
Yeah,
Pierre?
that was a little bit of accent slipping through, okay?
Pierre?
Okay. Shut up.
No.
I'll I'll say it like I wrote it. Gasly. Um did not start due to a potential oil leak. He was out and ready, and they had to wheel it back into the pits. Um, Colapinto started from the pits, so this was an awful moment for Alpine.
Yeah, like
Uh,
their whole season hasn't been one awful moment after another.
yeah,
Yeah.
with having one driver start from the pits and the other not. Well, he did eventually start. Um, So we had
Did
Oscar
I?
had I would say had a great jump off of the line. I think he was faster than Max off of the line, but due to how the slipstream works going up Eau Rouge at the start like that, Max was able to
Yeah.
use that to get around him, which him and Charles did that the
It
exact
was
same time
beautiful.
to both McLarens, and it was the prettiest
The
thing
TikToks
ever.
for it are so good.
I love that moment. I'm a McLaren fan, and that was just great.
Well,
Just
everyone.
to see that pass at the same time.
It was very
Oh,
nice.
it was so good.
Yeah.
We love Verstappen moments we got this weekend.
Hey, you love Verstappen.
But just in a general sense of we finally got some Charles and Max fighting,
That's true.
which we haven't gotten in a while.
Yeah, that's true. What is
Um,
she on about? I'm ignoring her. It's fine.
who?
Love you, friend. You'll know who you are if you listen.
Oh, okay.
You
Um,
probably won't. She doesn't listen.
I had said I had already previously mentioned that Red Bull had straight line speed.
Well, that's why Oscar
And
couldn't get back
McLaren
in
had
front
speed in the
because they
cornering.
would catch up
Yep.
on the turns, and then the Red Bull would just go.
And so, in the end, it was the straight line speed that was better because I'm fairly sure there was a couple other cars that also like if they had the straight line speed instead they did better. Um I was very angry at the beginning of do not show me the gain/lost. I want the times. This is in all caps because they kept showing like the gain/lost, in which there was a lot of gains because of Pierre dropping out. And but
I
the
liked
thing
how
was
Pierre
I
joined
wanted to
halfway through, though. It was just having his own little race. He was vibing.
he jumped I have it written down. He jumped back in 2 laps down. So he jumped
Okay. I
back
thought
in
it was
after the second
further,
lap.
but I guess
No.
it's short. But he was having his own little adventure. Like, la di
Yeah.
da di da.
Um um but like I wanted to know like how close like Lando was to Charles, how close Oscar was to Max, and they weren't showing it, and it was pissing me off. And then I immediately saw a TikTok of also someone else mad at it. So I'm glad I
The
wasn't the
algorithm
only
was algorithming.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um Lando takes back his third place in lap 3, so
Yeah.
Charles is back down to
I was a
fourth,
little
and
sad
so
about that, but I was also okay with it because I am rooting for Lando in the championship battle. So
mhm.
I was
Um
okay with him getting closer. But also, I'm a bigger Charles fan than I am a Lando fan. So I was a little bummed at the same time. It was a weird place
yeah.
to be.
So there was really no changes the rest of the
It
race.
was kind of boring after that.
Absolutely nothing happened. I literally have Oscar, Lando is closing in. Come on, Oscar. So Oscar has low battery. Like there was my panic sequence for a little bit
Yeah.
because Lando was catching Oscar until the end. Not many place changes and having turn speed did not work out for McLaren. That is literally all that happened. That is so little compared to my usual notes.
Yeah.
Because that race, the beginning, beautiful, graceful, loved it. The beginning was fine. Then nothing else happened.
I feel like that was kind of the theme for the weekend, though, wasn't it? They took
Mm-hmm.
away such a potential good race for us. Is all I'm gonna say. Anyway, moving on to normal quali, not sprint quali. Normal
Yes.
quali.
I think this was my favorite part of the. I don't know.
I think it was the
We'll
best
see.
part of the weekend.
Okay, so Q1. Once again, I need to start writing a little more detail into my notes because I don't know when this happens. Bearman almost into Fernando.
That would have
I
been disastrous for my fantasy team too, by the way.
all she cares
I'm
about
trying
is
to
the
win.
fantasy team,
I'm trying to
which
win.
you really can't though now because I'm ahead by 3 races.
I know. I'm actually so annoyed. So F1, if you're hearing this, my account on F1 Unlocked or whatever won't let me log in. So I had to make an entirely new account. So I lost all my progress. And that's dumb. I should be able to use my account that I made. So
Yeah.
restore it for me. Because I didn't do anything to it. You just won't let me log in.
So like now they're so and then we added another one of our friends into our fantasy who they like F1 but like not as much as us. And so they're just doing it for shits and giggles. And it's like those two are now like at like 200 points for our fantasy and I'm up here with like 500, 600 just
Are
because
you?
I think so. I don't
I
remember
thought you were only at
exactly.
400 something. I
Maybe
thought
I'm only at
Fireman made
4
a
months.
dent.
Maybe I'm only at 400. I don't remember.
You had a bad
I don't.
British GP. You had bad Silverstone.
I had a bad Silverstone,
I
true,
think you got
but
negative points in Silverstone.
I had a really amazing Austrian Grand Prix.
Yeah, you're only
Like
at
my
430.
oh,
Let
I
me
couldn't
look
remember.
at your.
My predict is like 350 because I didn't do it this race.
I still won. Yeah, and
Doesn't really
in the
count.
British one, you had negative 25, so you lost a lot of points there.
My British
Anyway,
Grand Prix.
we should probably talk about this. I'm sure our like 7 listeners don't want to hear us talking about our fantasy team.
Um, no, this is when Lance ran over Nico's wing.
Was it?
I have it written down. It
All right,
wasn't the
we lied
sprint.
to you earlier, guys. Please don't hate on us in
Yeah.
the comments.
Um, and that's when I think I mentioned Behrman almost into Fernando. That was the moment in the pits when they were like, moments always almost happen, but they never happen. Oh wait, it just happened.
No, so my dad, he was watching with me because he knows I'm interested, so he's trying to get more interested. And so he watched like half of quali, but he had stuff to do. He was going out with my mom, but he was watching the beginning. And one of the things I showed him like before getting in was a Lance Stroll crash compilation. So like the first quali he watching Lance Stroll crash, he was like, why is this guy still on the grid? Like he's just raging.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Um, I have, of course, Max splits the McLarens again. So this was in Q1, and
Yeah.
I think it was Oscar, Max, Lando. I don't remember. And then I went, Jesus, Lawson, okay, because this was like their first run,
Yeah.
and he had gone all the way to the top, and I went, oh,
How
okay,
did you do
pop
that?
off.
All right, bro.
Need to stop putting bias into my notes. I go Lando for once ahead of Oscar. He was ahead then the rest of the time, though, too. The rest of
Jamie.
quali.
Jamie.
I
Shame.
have opinions. I love Lando to death, but I'm still gonna have opinion. I would do it for any drama, or like any driver.
That's fair.
Like if
Let's see.
the elimination zone kind of crazy because I think at that point there was just a bunch of people who should not have gotten
Yeah.
eliminated in Q1 that did, which included Lewis. So Gabby was in 16th and Lewis was like up further, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden
Track
Lewis's time
limits.
last minute got track limits and
Let
he
me
got
tell you,
pushed down to
my dad,
16.
as Lewis Hamilton's newest, biggest fan, was so upset. He was so mad. He's like, why is my Ferrari guy at the bottom? And like, this sucks. Why is he down there? Lewis, no. I'm like, okay,
Oh
Dad.
my god. And
He gets
then
really into sports when he gets into them.
Gabby was like, fuck yeah. Of course Lewis got out.
You can tell
Which
he's
was, it
raised
was
by Fernando
obviously,
Alonso.
yeah. And
Yeah.
like, it was obviously phenomenal for him because he got all the way to Q3. Like, this was the
Sometimes that's all
greatest
it
moment
takes.
of his life. Q2, Ollie had a little moment of going off and almost spinning, but he kept himself from spinning. Um, Good on him. He kept himself from spinning. Um, Everyone else had new soft tires, but McLaren was still using used softs
Yeah.
in the beginning. I think eventually they swapped where McLaren then put on like
Mm-hmm.
new softs, whatever. Um, Oscar Oscar Piastri, the man himself, cannot ever like actively be like that person's stupid. No, he has to be sassy about everything.
They
And
need
when
bigger
he
mirrors.
almost yeah, and when he almost got hit into in the pits, he goes thinks people that needs bigger mirrors.
Yeah.
Because once again, you can't call someone just plain stupid or anything like
Who
some
was
of the
he
other
talking about
drivers.
there?
I think it was for no. I think it was one of the racing bulls. I'm. I remember the moment. I remember watching it and being like, "Oh, Oscar's gonna say something about this,"
Yeah.
and then like 5 minutes later, we get the radio message. Oscar said something about it.
Yeah.
Um. I guess I didn't say who got out in Q1. Q1 was Hamilton, Colapinto, Antonelli, Alonso, Stroll, and then
Most of those guys
Q2.
start from the pit lane anyway, so it's like
Yeah,
not the end of the world.
2 was Ocon, Behrman, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Sainz. And
My
then
dad was really sad about Carlos as well.
I'm always sad about Carlos. Even
Yeah.
though, see, but I'm always going to root for Alex over Carlos when it comes to Williams, just because I love Alex.
Same here.
I
I also love Alex.
love Alex. He's in my top 6 drivers. Probably top 5. actually, now. My stuff has moved around a lot since the last time I had my tree on the
Your
wall.
wall.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, uh-oh.
Here, I can turn off the camera. Uh, all right, I'm gone, but I'm
Um,
still talking.
yeah. Um, I like how my first note about Q3 is the camera panned to Joe's Verstappen, and I just went, I hate Joe's Verstappen.
I think
Um,
it's pronounced Yos or Yos.
Yos. I
Yos.
can't
Yeah.
pronounce names.
Mm.
Um, I didn't realize that Yuki had made it into Q3 and for a couple minutes, and I literally have a note going, Yuki made it! Which is so insane because
I was
all
so
four
happy
Red
for him.
Bulls,
That was a win that man needed.
all four Red Bulls got to Q3, the first race that Christian Horner wasn't there.
I'm not saying correlation equals causation, but correlation might equal causation.
All four of them.
Suspicious.
That was insane.
Coincidence?
Um,
I think not.
Max had no grip, but he always complains about grip. So did he really have no grip? Who knows? Um,
For those of you who can't tell, we made a face at each other going,
this was one of my favorite moments of quali of George just going, was everyone going slow? Because he had gone slow and he didn't
yeah.
move anywhere. And he was like, wait, did everyone else also
Suspicious?
go slow?
I
I
felt
think he
so
was.
bad for George, though, as a George fan, because at the end, sorry, I know I'm probably skipping around, but at the end, he had a purple first sector and a purple third sector. But because the Mercedes is so bad in the straight lines, because we can never figure anything out,
Yeah,
he got
yeah.
like six, even though he was the best at the start and the end, and I was so upset because I was like, George is gonna do it, George is gonna do it, and then George didn't do it, and I was
He was,
upset.
yeah, he was so. I even commented on that. I was like, how did he get two purples and not be higher
Because we
up?
were like 0.6 something slower in sector 2.
Mm,
We had
yeah.
such a bad sector 2 that it outweighed our greatness in the first and last sector.
But yes, it was Lando on pole in the end. I think Oscar was behind by like point 0.1, maybe even less. I don't remember. Then it was Charles, which was a surprise for everyone. A
Not for
little bit.
me. You want to know where I got most of my prediction points this week? I predicted
Charles.
Charles to do really good this weekend. So almost everything was because Charles did well.
Then Max in fourth. Alex beat out George last minute, and I was
That was
so
shocking for me.
excited. I was
She was
so
bragging.
excited. I was so excited. I love Alex.
I love
George,
Alex, but
Yuki,
I love George more.
mm-mm. Yuki, Isaac, Liam, Gabby. Which this lineup, if it stayed like this, I would have totally destroyed you and Kai in
It didn't.
fantasy. But the race didn't go so well for specifically one of them, which effed me over. Um, but yeah, that is all for qualifying. It was definitely an interesting qualifying. I forgot how stressed I get when watching sports. 'Cause like this isn't just an F1 thing. I get so stressed. Like I went, so you know this story, but I went to the Twins Brewers game last year at the Twins
Yeah, I do
Stadium.
know
It
this
was the
story.
Saturday night game, and that game went into the 12th inning where they kept going back and forth, obviously, in the runs. And at like one point, I think it was the 11th inning, the Brewers got 4 runs, and then the Twins got 4 runs, which is insane in itself. And like our roommate gave me her Fitbit that measures heart rate, and I think I was at like 110,
That's
which
crazy. For
that's
just
usually
sitting
like
there.
working out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
Well,
stressed
we
watching
both
sports.
swim, so our heart rates, this is like a thing with swimming, right? Where like your heart rates kind of are lower to a certain extent, or am I making this completely up?
I
I
usually
might
have a
be.
I don't know. I usually have when I'm actually
Mine's
swimming,
always
my heart
low.
rate's not that high. No, I'm. Oh, it depends. It depends.
Yes, they're lower.
Okay.
There's a few
I'm never
reasons.
good at
We have
I'm never good at taking my own heart rate, so every time we did that, I always like felt like I was wrong. So,
so according to Google AI, our mammalian diving reflexes are
Olivia,
better.
I sent you a picture of the reason you should not trust that.
You did?
Remember when so I did a TikTok where it's like get to know me based on F1 things. And one of the things was like my birth month. And so I needed to know like
Oh yeah.
drivers who were born in June. And I knew Daniel like Kvyat because we're born on the same day. So there you go, everyone. There's my birthday. If you go Google that, I'm born on
Here,
the same
here.
day as Daniel. Not
According
Daniel
to
Kvyat.
according to the National Institute of Health, this is true. So it is confirmed, not just from
Who
Google AI.
No, Latifi is who I have the same birthday as. And so I looked it up and it was like George Russell and Carlos Sainz also are June birthdays. They are not June birthdays. George is in like November and Carlos is in September. And I was like, what? And then it was like Lando is a Scorpio, but he's also a Gemini. And I'm like,
That does not make
no,
sense.
no, what? Um, so that's why you can't trust Google AI. I have a picture that proves you can't trust it.
You did.
Um,
Anyway, though, according to the National Institute of Health, it's also true. Swimmers have an average heart rate of about 15 beats per minute less than of a runner.
hmm,
So who
interesting.
knew? Yeah. Anyway,
Did
so
not know
that's
that.
really high for a resting heart rate, I guess,
Yeah,
for us. Yeah.
I was not
Anyway,
resting.
are we
I was
still on?
stressing.
Is there anything else to talk about for quali, or do we want to
No,
go on to the race? Okay.
no, it's the race.
Race weekend, racing. I wanted a rain race, and we waited till there was
Okay,
no rain.
but also both Oscar, Lando, and Charles, like Oscar literally said they were the worst ones to ask about this because they were at the front. Like, but they all were like, based off of the history, it was good to be on the safer side. Oscar even said that like in the past, when the people who run the track asked the drivers, like give them input, a lot of them were like be on the safer side. So I get why they
I also
waited.
get why, but for my entertainment's sake, I was not thrilled. Also, though, I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning because this race started at 9, and I wanted to go out and get Dunkin' for breakfast. Well, I didn't want to get out Dunkin'. I was gonna make myself food, but then my power broker thingy was flipped off, and we had to wait for my dad to wake up. It was a whole thing, so I went out to get Dunkin'. Um. Anyway, so I did that, and then I came back. I woke up my dad, and then we were delayed for an hour and a half, so I could have slept a whole extra
See,
hour.
which is so funny to me. You were saying how bored you were. I was at work during this, so I didn't get to watch the race live. She was literally giving me live updates, and she was kind of bad at it. I needed more. You were bad at it. Um, you weren't giving me enough. Uh,
What the heck?
um, but like when I rewatched the race, I was enjoying listening to the commentary and stuff. Like I was having a great time.
You watched the commentary going up to it?
I watched the entire race, the entire hour
Girl,
and a half. Yeah.
I'm not that
I was
dedicated. I would have
enjoying it.
skipped it.
I was enjoying it.
I would have
I liked
watched Nico
knowing their facts and tidbits.
Rosberg, however you pronounce his last name. I always mix it up. I would have
That
Rosberg.
was
I
probably the
would have watched
best thing to
that.
come out of this weekend.
I would have watched
Was
that, but that's not what we were getting.
we both have F1 TV, so we don't have Sky
Yeah.
Sports. And obviously we forgot that Nico interviewed the quali people and everyone was like Lewis probably did that because he didn't want to see Nico.
That could have been it.
Nico
He did
was a
avoid him with his
chaos
umbrella
monger.
later in the weekend, if you've seen
That
that.
was so funny. I sent it to you.
Did you?
Yes.
I've seen it all over,
Um,
so you wouldn't have been
that
the only
was
one if you
so
sent it.
funny of Lewis just going, I don't want to see
Like,
him.
bro,
That was obvious, Lewis.
come
Sorry, you
on.
weren't subtle. um, But Nico Rosberg was definitely a chaos monger this weekend. So
I
in
loved
that
it.
hour and a half, we waited for the track to dry, and well, rain did start. So, um, let's go. Let me double check my notes just in case we're skipping stuff. Um, oh, that can be later. But anyways, Nico Rosberg was dropping some of the insane Brosades lore, and it was all because of Crofty being the number one Brosades fan. He needed to know everything. He was not letting Nico kept trying to divert the conversation away, and Crofty was not having
I
it.
do think it's a bit rude for them to have done that to him, just for the record. But I would have loved to hear about it. As a fan, I'd be like, yeah, drop the lore. I'm
Um,
nosy. I want to know.
like there was multiple moments where Nico seemed a little uncomfortable, which not the greatest. Eventually when he started talking, like after the photo of them on
Yeah.
the ATV got showed, he was a little more comfortable talking about like how they were always going on vacation together because they're best friends, and that Lewis was a little insane on the ATV because they were at Nico's house
Yeah.
in that photo, and that they and then one of the commentators, I can't remember who it was like, in the McLaren garage, you two were menaces.
All I'm
Um,
saying though
and
is
then
that I really it made me think, oh, this is really sad, and Lewis needs to reach out to Nico because I think they could
I
reconnect if
think
they
Nico
wanted to.
misses him.
I think so too. I want it to
Um,
happen. I want them to be
yeah.
friends again.
And then after this, Nico then starts going around the paddock and trying to expose some insane stuff. He accuses Max's dad of being the reason of Christian leaving,
We
which
all wanted
I
to do that. Come on.
what else did he do? He did more things. What are the other questions? Um, he really was trying to reveal some of the deepest and darkest secrets between every single person. I think it's in the video you sent me earlier.
Let's not
Or
worry
no,
about
did
it
I
too
send it?
much.
Yeah. Well, Nico was a menace, which I wish I could have watched that whole thing, but I also was enjoying the commentating from the hour and a half from the F1 TV commentators. But that's because I like knowing fun facts. I literally read up on stats and stuff.
Nerd.
I guess I calculate it myself because F1 doesn't have good stats. F1, you need to do better. I need to see all of my stats right now. Um, but four people started from the pit, or were supposed to start from the pit. Kind of didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
It was Kimi, Fernando, Carlos, and Lewis, which just meant they all changed their car setup from quali. So, and they were most of them were at the back of the pack. So it's just like
Didn't
they're like,
matter too
yep, might
much.
as well.
Yeah.
Um, they started under a safety car, and so they were upwards of 4 laps. They were 4 laps down because of the safety car, and the conditions because of the spray. Even though it depended on the driver. Oscar said the spray was bad. Lando didn't like the wetness. Well, Lando's main complaint was that it wasn't equal on both sides. So if they did a flat out start, whoever was on the wetter side would
Yeah.
have less of an advantage. Um,
I
and
think
so,
that we should just use our wet tires that we have and do
girl,
races in
that
the wet.
doesn't help with the spray. That just helps them from not slipping. And there was no standing
I
on
don't
water on the
care. I
track.
feel like they should race through the spray.
There was no standing. Okay, but then they raced through the spray in Silverstone, and 5 people got out.
Yeah.
Like
I would have liked to continue that pattern.
Isaac literally hit the back of Kimmy because he couldn't see Kimmy.
Yes.
It's a safety hazard, and it's a safety hazard they're not going to risk in Spa
I
because
know because of the
of
history there.
2019.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen in Spa
Still
again.
makes me
Like,
sad.
um, one of the uh Formula 3 races got canceled because of how bad, like, it was not happening.
By the way, the
Um,
location of the track is beautiful. Located like
Beautiful.
right in the Ardennes, it's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
already
As a history nerd, I was kind of nerding out about that too. I'm like, the Ardennes, oh my god. Because so many
I
interesting battles and stuff took place there and like strategy during World War II, like the Ardennes. Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
And there she nerds out. We got into an argument this weekend where in the end we both had to agree to disagree because we view the sport so differently just based off of, because I think the determining factor for how good a driver is based off of their stats, whereas she thinks it's based off of what other people say. When other people have bias, humans can't rival against
That is
technology
not
that
what I
says
was
things.
trying to say. I'm just saying I don't think stats are the end all be all because you can have a bad car and everything. If the driver's doing well and reliable,
Even
I think
even
it
with a
still
bad
means they're
car,
good.
even with a bad, even when I took
They
out
were
the
still
bad car stats,
reliable. If you have the
even
worst
when
car,
I took out the bad car stats, it still wasn't
the
good enough.
Mercedes is not that good of a car since he's joined.
It's been a top four. That's a good
Top,
car.
it's not the best car.
It's still a good one.
You're biased and you know it.
I'm biased because the stats say I can be
I don't
biased.
care.
The stats say, okay,
We
the
are
stats say
not
Lewis
starting
and
this
Max
on
are the
the
best, and
podcast,
Lewis
Jamie.
and Max
Shut
are the
up.
best.
We agreed to disagree. I'm not. You're not winning this with me. I'm too stubborn.
And you're wrong.
Ah! The race! Vroom, vroom.
Anyways, Oscar was purposely trying to dry up his side of the track for when he started, just in case they did a flat start. He literally, Lando was on the line, and he literally goes over here to dry up his side.
I respect it.
Um,
It's a smart
but
decision.
yeah, it was a rolling start on lap 5, and so because of where the pit lane is, they had a couple of turns before they hit lap 5, which had kind of allowed Oscar to get close to Lando because they the safety car was gone and they can go up to speed, but they can't pass until they
Yeah.
pass the like start line.
Mhm.
Um Lando had a lockup in turn 1 immediately. He also had battery issues, which we still don't fully know. Even Lando after the race didn't know the reason.
Yeah.
Even Zach has talked about like he needs to look at it with his team and stuff. So
Mhm.
like there's a lot about that. Um, Oscar, I think because Lando had no battery, he couldn't get up Eau Rouge as quickly as Oscar could. Oscar was closer to flat out than Lando was and was able to overtake him right away on that start. Um, George passed Alex on lap 6, so just a lap after. Same kind of overtake as Oscar did, I'm fairly
Crazy.
sure.
It's
I
like
think
he's
it
a
was
good
only Eau
driver or
Rouge.
something.
I wasn't arguing against Alex.
No, I know.
So, at most, he's a
Sorry.
top 4
I'm
driver,
still a bit
not top
petty right
3.
now.
He's not top 3 on the grid right now. He is at most top 4. Top 4.
Who would you put above him?
It goes Lewis, Max, Oscar, George, based off of the stats. That is the order. It
I think
depends on
he's
the
better
stats,
than
though.
Oscar.
It depends on the stats, though, because in a lot of the stats, George is midfield. Just saying. And that is with me taking out Williams. Don't even try me on that. Um, I go, Lewis is
This
absolutely
is the
insane.
argument, by the way. That
Um,
it doesn't help that I'm incredibly biased, but I think I'm right still.
I'm
Moving
gonna say
on.
Lewis is still the best driver, then
Oh,
Max,
I would say
and
Lewis
then Oscar.
historically has been the best driver, but I do think he's fallen off a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad at all. I just think he's fallen off a bit.
Lewis is absolutely insane with these overtakes. Hamilton was
They were
angry.
so good.
Uh,
They were
that were
so good.
those were my notes. And so while the track was still wet, this was surprising. So while the
Yeah.
track was still wet, Lewis was having a fine enough time to overtake, But Charles was struggling in the wet conditions a
Yeah.
little bit more because they set up the Ferraris with a little less downforce, so it was a little more slippery in the
Yeah.
wet conditions versus so in the beginning Charles and Max were definitely like really going at it in the beginning. There was easy moments where I thought Max was going to overtake Charles, but Charles impressively held him off. Eventually, once they were still Charles commented on this I think in the post race stuff.
They were within a second or two the entire race.
Yeah, anytime Charles thought he had a good lap and did amazing, Max did the exact same lap. They were just
Yeah.
constantly together. Um, and so on lap 12 was the start of the pit stop. So there's 4 people that pitted in lap 12, which caused the entire rest of the grid, except 5 people, I think, to pit.
And it was the right decision to pit early.
Yep.
Yep.
So on lap 13, pretty much everyone pits, except the people that couldn't. So like Lando couldn't pit because Oscar was there. They could have done a double stack.
It wouldn't have been
Lando
worth the
talked
risk.
about it. Um, but he would have lost time there too. So yeah. Other people like I think Isaac couldn't because Liam couldn't because they were close together. It was a lot of when the teammates
Yeah,
were
there
too
was a
close
lot
to
of
each
that.
other.
Yeah.
So the last pit stops happened on lap 14. Lando had a really slow pit stop.
I
The
feel like
front
that
left tire
always
didn't go
happens to
on.
Lando. And I feel like it's always that front left for Lando too.
Yeah, I don't
They need to
know.
like put some WD-40 or something on the tire to slick it up.
But yeah, that front left didn't go on correctly, so they had to readjust it, which made the pit stop slow. So literally the entire grid went on mediums except Lando, which so once again, I wasn't watching this, and
Yeah.
so I was talking to her about like my thoughts on strategy and stuff. I was very interested in that decision just because
Mhm.
this weekend was the first time there was a gap in the tires. Pirelli was actually trying to not have people go on hard tires, but that was for a completely dry race.
Yeah.
Pirelli wanted them to use softs and mediums. So it was the C1, the C3, and the C4. So the medium was the C3, the hard was the C1. Um,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting because they were saying that was a second slower than the
Mhm.
mediums, but in the end, they were kind of similar.
Yeah. Which
Lando
is
obviously
annoying because I don't
was getting
know.
fastest laps. Yeah,
It was annoying. I do feel like they need to make the tires like I don't want to say less reliable, like in the thing, but like to a certain extent, I don't think a medium should be able to do 30 laps like a hard can, if that's the point of the hard tire.
but the only reason it could do that was because it rained and it was cold.
That's true. That's
If it
true.
was
I guess you have to
hotter,
view it that way, but still,
yeah,
it frustrates me.
and and some of the back of the pack decided to switch out in the end, but
But
mostly
it
everyone who was on
backfired.
the
If
mediums,
you should have
yeah.
stayed out.
Mm-hmm.
The strategy was to stay
Um,
out.
yeah. So Lando gained on Oscar for a little bit, but then went wide. There was a lot of, I think Lando was trying a little too hard. Is was making some mistakes because I think he did really want this win because it
Hmm.
was kind of a second home race for him.
Yeah.
And so he wanted the win, was trying a little too hard, and then he definitely had a lot of mistakes in
Yeah.
there because
It
of that.
happens.
Yeah, it happens. I
My
do
dad
not hate
is
on people.
Oscar's biggest hater, Jamie. He hates Oscar. Oscar and Max, but it was Oscar in front. So I texted you this, right? So Oscar's just drinking a drink in the in between like part of it. My dad
Yeah.
goes, I hate Oscar. And I'm like, what? Like, what is he doing? And he's like, he always screws over Lando. And I'm like, when? And like, he's like, that one race we watched on, because I've been trying to get him in, so we've been watching Drive to Survive. And there was one race where like, he doesn't like the race where they team ordered Oscar in front for his first win. because he thinks they screwed over Lando. And I was trying to explain, like, no, they actually like were screwing over Oscar there, but he doesn't agree with me. And then
Well, okay.
no,
I
no, no,
think that
no,
was just
you're muted. I can't hear you. Okay, and then
no, I'm not.
oh, you were silent for a sec. And then he was also raging over the race where he just purposely passed him, I guess, at some point where it got too close. I don't know. But he's like, and then after Silverstone, obviously Oscar asked to get back in front, and that solidified my dad's hatred. And I feel so bad. Just like, Oscar's like, fine. But my dad's like, rah.
Okay. Since Hungary is the next race, my thoughts and opinion of last year is that it was McLaren's fault entirely and it screwed
Yeah,
over both of them. It
I
was a
completely agree.
McLaren fault, not either of the drivers. They both had a right to feel upset. They both had a right to. It just was a bad race.
Yeah,
It was a
I
bad moment
agree.
for
And I think
McLaren.
my dad does too. But he thinks because they messed up so badly and because the narrative they were giving us on Drive to Survive is that, like, oh, Lando's the big competition, he thinks they completely screwed over Lando.
Yeah.
Which, like, I kind of
Um.
get, but also, like, Oscar deserved that. So it's like,
Yeah.
no. It is what it is.
Um.
Anyway, yeah, anyway, my dad was not happy with the result. I was okay with it. I would have preferred Lando to win. I actually predicted Charles would win. I wanted a surprise winner. So it was kind of sad.
I
I predicted the podium right, and I kind of figured it wouldn't actually be what I predicted, but I predicted, um, no, I put Lando in second. I wanted Oscar in third for that, but I predicted
of course.
Charles to win for funsies.
She was literally saying she wanted Oscar or Franco to crash into Oscar. God.
Manifesting, and then we got into a fight over that too.
And
We got into
that's
a fight
where the
over
fight
me
started.
manifesting a fake result.
No, because she kept saying manifesting instead of being delusional. She was being
I
delusional.
was manifesting.
Delusional.
She loves you guys.
No.
Hey.
Yep, Lando then this was before the final lockup. So Lando before the final lockup that was the true determining factor of the race. Locks up, loses his oh no, this is the end. I guess I didn't write much
Oh,
else.
we forgot to mention, I think Charles did an amazing job defending from Max in that beginning
I
stint
said
before they
that.
switched the tires. We didn't talk about it enough. Charles did an amazing job defending there, and I was very happy with that. That's it.
Okay.
I want
I
every.
literally I had like said it for like 2 minutes and you
I'm
completely
sorry.
ignored.
I'm sorry.
But they start talking about how should Oscar stay out or should Oscar pit.
Oh, he
It
should have
was a
stayed out
big
and made the
debate.
right choice.
They made the right choice of keeping him out. He had enough of a gap because of Lando's slow pit stop, which allowed him to be able to stay out. Lando would have been on his
Yeah,
ass in the end if he didn't have that final
I
lockup
know it was
that determined the
devastating.
race. Lando would have been right there, and I would have loved to see a fight to the finish
It would have
line.
been so
I think
fun.
that would have been
Yeah.
amazing, but he locks up in one of the turns, I think
Honestly,
on
I
lap
wonder
like
how different it
42.
would have been if his pit stop was just faster, because
That also,
that would
yeah.
have made a massive difference, and we'll just
Mhm.
never know. So it's a little sad about that.
Yeah. Um yeah, all the rest of my notes are afterwards. These are kind of funny. So,
Yeah.
I write notes about the afterwards too because I love watch. This is my favorite cool down trio. I
Okay,
will
this one
die
was
on this
actually
hill.
quite fun.
Every time it's Lando, Oscar, and
I loved
Charles,
when
it's
they were
fun
cheering on
because
Kimmy.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Oscar feels comfortable with those two
Hmm.
and starts yapping himself, which gets the other two who are already yappers to start
Yeah.
yapping. And so, first off, I said, let Charles drink water in peace because every time he is on the podium and it's the afterwards of him like waiting to get weighed or waiting to do the interview, they always zoom in on him drinking water.
He's
And
been
like
turning
this time
away.
he
He's
turned
learned.
away. Um, Lewis immediately went over to talk to Kimmy, which I thought was the sweetest thing
Yeah,
ever. I was just like, oh, Kimmy needs that.
he does. You want to say hi,
And
Michaela?
then
Okay. It's Jamie. Yeah, I am. It is recording though, so if you want to say hi, you can.
Hi, Jamie.
hi,
Here, wave your hand
Michaela.
in.
I saw
She says hi.
it.
Michaela
um,
loves Jamie. Like, she loves Jamie. So,
um, so the cool down room, it pans in, and Oscar's the only one not there, which is a
yeah.
shock. Oscar is usually the first one there.
I texted
Even
Jamie about
usually
that.
when
I went, oh my god, it's the opposite of usual.
even usually when he wins, he's usually still the first one there.
Yeah.
Um, but my favorite part was Lando complimenting himself. He he was telling himself he was doing a good job. Oscar gasped watching his own overtake, shocked at how
Nerd.
close he got to Lando. Like, I was so funny. And then Lando watching the pit stop,
Hi,
we
Oscar.
have Oscar goes, "Oh, that's not going on." And then Lando goes, "Bye, Oscar. Bye, Oscar." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is my favorite cooldown trio." Um, yeah, and that's I literally went, how do they already have Oscar's name on the walkway? That's crazy work.
Yeah,
On
but
the
anyway, that room
podium.
was really good.
I
This has been going on for an hour 20, so we should probably start wrapping things up for
love
this podcast.
um favorite radio.
I liked the Gabe one where he was in quali, where he was like, F yeah. And then I also
Oh
really
yeah.
like Charles telling Brian to shut up.
I think my favorite one from the weekend is Oscar being like, people need bigger mirrors. It was just so sassy and I love it.
That one was good
Driver of the
too,
day.
but I liked the really happy and really angry one. My driver of the day was Lewis. I voted for him. I don't
I'm
think
on
Lewis
agreement.
thinks he was driver of the day, but I think Lewis was.
I think he was too. 11
Yeah.
places is insane work. And I think he deserved that driver of the day.
Yeah.
It's so funny because usually I don't agree with the driver of the days because people suck
They've
at
been pretty good
voting.
this season so far.
They've been pretty
Yeah.
good. I've been agreeing
I
with
don't
a lot
always
of them.
agree, but
So,
like they've been good this season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um
I think
but
Liam
yeah,
deserves
it was
Monaco still for the
mm,
Red Bull or Racing Bull strategy.
maybe
Yeah.
it could have gone to Isaac though cuz that was like his highest place. I think
I don't know.
still.
Doesn't matter
Um
too much. It happened a while
but
ago.
yeah, this race weekend it was a little boring, but also a little fun because it's been 3 weeks. So having
Yeah.
a live race
Oh
and
my
getting
god.
to see everything is a lot of
I
fun.
see what F1 is doing though, because I wanted to cancel my F1 TV membership because it would be gone for a month, but I can't because the second I cancel it, I have to restart it. So I see what you're doing and I don't appreciate it.
We have Hungary this weekend, which little nervous just because of
I'm
last
excited.
year, but I'm also excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I might not be here. We might get coverage. We might not.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
so you might see a new face and Jamie
Yeah.
attempting to introduce the podcast.
Oh no. Oh God. Oh God. That's not my job. That's not my job.
Yeah, I might be here. It's still a little up in the
Yeah,
air,
it's up in
but
the air.
it's iffy right now.
Um,
But yeah,
and then we
anything
have
else
a
you want to
4 week
add?
break.
Yeah, maybe I could cancel it. Who knows? But anyway, like, subscribe, follow. We're on all the socials at 2OJ or OJ, so you can find us everywhere but Apple Podcasts because we don't know what we're doing there. We're getting really big on TikTok, so follow us there because we're quite funny.
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah.
a great video from this weekend that should not have gotten the views it did.
I don't know how it did.
Nope.
But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed today. We'll be back. We upload typically once or twice a week, depending. Normally twice a week, I believe. As long as my
Yes.
audio records this time, which it should have.
Yeah, we got 2 episodes that we recorded and then the audio didn't
They're
work,
unusable
so we gotta re-record
because
them.
my audio disappeared. Yeah. But yeah, thanks everybody. Bye.